Hello, everyone. This episode of Flamescast is brought to you by Skylight Frame. Skylight Frame is more than just a photo frame. It's a magical way to keep loved ones close, no matter the distance. With Skylight, you can share the joy of a special moment, a silly snapshot, or a treasured memory instantly, making it the perfect present for anyone who values connection and family. There's no better way to put a smile on your loved one's face than to share a special photo, whether it's a glimpse of the kids being silly, magical moment from a vacation, or a sentimental memory from years past. Skylight Frame brings your favorite memories to life right in your own home. It's also good for the holiday season right around the corner. If you guys are looking for something last minute here, Skylight Frame is probably the best gift that you can get out there. It's easy to use, it's very effortless, and it's easy to use for instant sharing as well with no app or subscription required and a quick 1-minute setup. Skylight's designed to be easy for all ages. Simply plug in the frame and you're ready to start sharing memories. Skylight Frame is also a great way to provide a private way also to share photos without posting them to the world or having them print hard copies. Over 1 million happy customers are good with it. There's thousands of 5-star reviews, and they're available in over 30 countries. Recommended by the Today Show, Forbes, New York Magazine, and more. So for the limited time, guys, get 20% off of your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. That's right. So you get 20% off your Skylight Frame. Just go to ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. Again, 20% off at Skylight Frame, ca.skylight.com/hockey. We got a good one today, everybody. Let's roll the intro. Let's do it. What's going on? Happy Thursday. We're back again here. No Neil today. He's got some insurance stuff that he's got to take care of. Important adult things, unlike the silly things that I'm doing with this. Still back up here in Northern Ontario. Got hammered with a snow squall yesterday, so we're not necessarily trapped, but it's not fun to be outside right now. Hope everybody's having a good week so far, and same here for us as we're kind of rolling around. The holidays are right around the corner. I'm not stressed to get gifts. I've got most of it covered. I'm just missing. It's tough when you get to like your last, like the 1 or 2 things left that you need for that person, and you have no idea what to do. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm looking on Amazon, looking on anything under $25, and it's becoming a major issue. But we'll figure it out. We'll give it like another week, and then I'll start panicking, and then randomly buy something that'll work. But anyway, yeah, that's it's kind of not, I mean, we got an important episode coming in today. I know this happened 2 days ago, so, obviously being a little bit late on it, but I still figure we're going to touch upon it and just give our little take on Tuesday night's game and the whole ceremony and all that. So I figure we'll dive right into it. It was certainly not what I expected. First and foremost, I want to give huge props to the organization, to the team, to the players themselves, to both teams as well, too, for what was a fantastic night in general. The game itself is secondary. We'll get into the game in a few minutes, but I just wanted to point out just some really touching things that I personally noticed on Tuesday, and what overall made it such a memorable night. So before the game, you get Meredith Gaudreau, who comes out, talks to Ryan Leslie and Brendan Parker of Flames TV. By the way, both gentlemen deserve major props for the interviews that were conducted in such a great manner. Those guys are the best at what they do, and I think they deserve nothing but huge props and a huge ovation for how they were able to handle it for themselves on Tuesday. Yeah, it was pretty pretty tough for them to be there, Meredith and the entire family. So just seeing Meredith before the game jump on with Ryan Leslie and then Brendan Parker afterwards. You could tell that she was just so happy to be back, and we couldn't be happy for her and her entire family being back in Calgary, and just getting random people just saying, hey, like, welcome back. And yeah, like, that was just very touching to see out of a lot of the things that were touching that night. Game, prior to the game, guys go out, wear 13. And obviously you get the ceremony face off as well too. um Emotional. Sean Monahan, Backlund, Anderson, I'm sure both teams were. Um, they mentioned it at intermission too, with the whole ceremony. They brought on Guy and Jane on with Ryan Leslie at the first intermission, and two things about that. Number one, I noticed that Guy mentioned that it was tough for him to just get up the stairs rather than the players actually playing the game on Tuesday, which was um, I totally understand, right? And everybody should as well. The other thing that I noticed, and I wanted to give a shout out to, was we had on Emma Grace about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And she mentioned that she was going to be handing out bracelets to everybody who was there. She wanted to get one out to Jane as well, if possible, to Jane Gaudreau. And the first thing that I noticed at the intermission when they brought on Jane and Guy was Jane was holding one of the bracelets. I knew right away that Emma got to her and was there. Yeah, I mean, if she knew that they were going for first intermission, that she probably hung out around there, was able to give Jane one of the bracelets, and I really noticed that Jane was holding on to that bracelet tight. And yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Emma because the bracelets that she made, Flames shouted her out on social media too. She did an unbelievable job, by the way, on those bracelets. So if you got one, fantastic. And I'll have to get somebody to make one for me because I think it's special to have. It's good to have, and I'm glad that she was able to give it out to the family there at the time. So shout out to Emma for doing that. Awesome job with it. Overall, it was there was just so many moments, like, I can't even describe, where you're shedding a tear. And the fact that the game was even played that night was remarkable in itself, because everybody knew that it was going to be tough. Huska after the game mentioned that the guys were aware of the video tribute that was going to happen before the game, and he let the guys watch it. Same thing on the Jackets side. They watched it. They knew it was going to happen, but it was still tough on the players regardless. And Anderson mentioned that after the game too. The thing that really got me the most, it got me emotional. What got me really emotional was about halfway through the game, they were doing shots up in the suite where the entire Gaudreau family was. And at one moment, there was, I'm not sure if it was the aunt, but there was also Conroy who was holding one of the kids, Johnny Jr., right? And Lanny McDonald was also at one point seen holding Johnny Jr. And that's where it really got me personally, because you watch that, and even for both kids, right? You just watch that, and it's like they have no flipping idea what's going on, right? Until years down the line, where they'll at least be able to understand, like, the magnitude of all this. And it just, it got me in the sense that it's like, that little Johnny there, he's going to carry on a legacy, like, for the entire family too, right? This isn't to take anything away from the other kid as well. I'm mistaking on the name right now, but it just really got me, just because it was so touching, and it was just so nice to see Craig Conroy be there, and seeing Lanny McDonald is there too, like, just holding the kids, and everybody seemingly like they were having a great time. And that was just kind of really awesome to see. And then, yeah, after the game, to have Johnny Gaudreau as the first star was just, I think that was the plan all along, regardless of the result. Really cool to see, and really touching as they brought Guy out, and Razzie and Backlund were also out there, just kind of holding him up, and acknowledging the crowd. And shout out as well to the whole crowd. It was just an unbelievable atmosphere that night. And you see post game afterwards, he goes into the locker room, and the speech that he gave to the team, just giving them a little. I think it was funny that he gave a little jab to the fact that they can't score more than 3 goals. So I thought that was good. And I think the biggest takeaway from that entire night, they mentioned it in the first intermission with Guy and Jane, how they were talking about that they were so happy to go, and it was almost it was so therapeutic for them to go and and just be there, and felt so welcomed, and the whole 9 yards. So um again, I'm really late to this because this happened 2 days ago, but still, it was a really touching night. It was awesome to see. Everybody involved did an amazing job, right? On both side, on both teams, the entire organization, the staff, the crowd, everybody just full A+ marks. It was a really great night, and certainly one I think that we're all going to remember for a very long time. So I'm not going to dive too deep into it, just because again, this was 2 days ago, but it was important to just kind of make those notes. And yeah, overall, it was just such an awesome night, and really happy that I was able to witness this, and something that you just won't forget, right? Um, in and of itself, there was also a game that was played. I don't know how. Kelly Rudy on the Sportsnet telecast, he even needed like a couple of minutes throughout from puck drop just to kind of regroup. So, imagine him, and then you imagine the players now all of a sudden needing to turn back and play a game, right? And eventually they got to it. Again, this was all kind of secondary, but lo and behold, they got to it, and um, both teams played great that night. Like, it was good. It was hard fought. I thought the Jackets, like, despite being the result that it was, I thought they played a good hard fought game as well too. It was good on both ends. The Jackets had the first goal called back early on, offside, and from Zach Werenski, who ended up scoring that night, was called back. No score after one, and then Rasmus Anderson on the power play immediately with the finger point up to the suite of the Gaudreau family, so he can tell, like, for him, like, he even said it after the game, it was super emotional for him getting the goal, understandably so. And then Backlund gets one later on, gets called back, and then Kevin Ball, with about 2 minutes left, you get a power play opportunity, and they find a way into the back of the net, and then they also find a way to get an empty netter as well too. So again, like, I'm not going to dive crazy deep into this game. I think the only thing really worth mentioning here is just that I'm really proud of the players, all of them in general, just to be able to get through this game. Because they said it, like, the first couple of minutes, even Blake Coleman said it on Flames TV after the game, where he was like, it took us a couple of minutes just to, like, get into it, right? And I think you can make the same case for Daniel Vladar. I think he was mentioning it too as well after the game. So it took him a while to get into it. But eventually everybody seemingly kind of settled down and were able to finish this game. So, you know, I I think you have to take everything here, like the stats, for example, with a grain of salt, right? Because this isn't your normal regular season game, and understandably so. It's you have that whole ceremony and everything that goes with it. Um, you just have to take it all here with a grain of salt. And again, you have to understand that. So overall, it was a great night. I thought I thought the Flames did well. I thought Vladar played sensational after he let in that one goal that was called back. I thought he played really well. I thought the guys played really well up in front of him. And again, the power play has been very good now in the last couple of games, and it was starting to show. Um, yeah, it was just overall, I thought it was a great game for the Flames. Credit the Blue Jackets too, who I thought purely dominated the first period for a good chunk of it. I thought they kind of deserved the lead after the first period, despite that goal being called back. I thought they were just the better team. Also to mention too, like, of course, the very first chance of the game, Jackets get a 2-on-1, and it's no one other than Sean Monahan, who didn't miss by much. He hit Vladar on the shoulder, and as soon as that was happening, immediately in my head, I'm thinking, this is going in. Like, there's no way this is not going in. Monahan had a great chance there early on a 2-on-1, very first chance of the game. And you think that he's going to be able to finish that. Unfortunately, it didn't go in. But I would have loved to see the reaction had that go in, had Monahan scored initially early on. Like, I wonder what the reaction would have been like. And that's why it makes it makes hockey so special, just because it's so, you'll never see it anywhere else, where an opposing guy in the other team scores and everybody more than likely would have been cheering, to be fair, if that would have happened. Um, it was pretty emotional to see him being at center ice. I felt for him a lot too, because it's his return yet again to Calgary, and you go through all that, and I'm just glad that he's fighting through it, and he's doing well, and to just know too, like, I think just seeing the comments afterwards, like, everybody's saying like, you're always welcome back here, and he has a special place here in Calgary, and he's always welcome back. So same thing with the Gaudreaus. Wanted to end Tuesday night on a note, just hope that everybody got back safely. They got back to Columbus okay, and we're just really excited to see them again whenever they can come back to Calgary. We're always excited for them to come back. So good on them. And overall, it was just a fantastic night, and just hopefully that something that a lot of people won't forget. But yeah, I figure we move on. One of the bigger stories that happened yesterday that wasn't really touched upon was Justin Kirkland, who has had such an amazing story all year long. And, for it to all kind of go crashing down just like that yesterday, where, Pat Steinberg mentioned it on Twitter that Kirkland's now done for the year. Nobody really thought that, just because we go into it, and he gets taken on to IR, and it's like, okay, well, we don't know what the injury is. And then all of a sudden we see, oh my God, like, it's an ACL and he's done for the year. This is the second time in a matter of weeks where first it's Anthony Mantha. Now all of a sudden it's Justin Kirkland, who was such a great story, as Stinky Poke mentions it there. Like, he can't catch a break. He had such a memorable start to the year. He was playing so well for this team, and such a bright spot for this team, and all of a sudden it just gets taken away, and you feel for him. I feel awful for him, because this was kind of his, like, oh my God, I've been playing up to this point in the league, like, maybe this is it, like, I can make my jump now, and all of a sudden it just ends. And I feel awful for him, and I hope that he can recover. He has a successful recovery, and he's able to maybe get back onto this team next year and have a really good training camp and just go from the get-go right there. So it's a really, really tough break. This one probably way more worse than Anthony Mantha, because he was having such a good season on that fourth line with Ryan Lomberg. I thought that connection was working really well, and for that to kind of end, it sucks, frankly, and I feel awful. So hopefully he can get back on his feet soon. I think he has every right or reason to get back into this league and play on a fourth line, especially with Ryan Lomberg. And I mean, he's such a shootout specialist too, right? So I think Costco needs to step up and give this guy, do a favor for him, because the way that it ended now, it sucks, and you want to see him, just get into the spotlight again. So Costco better step up for him, because this is bullshit, frankly. So I just wanted to mention that. It sucks, but not much you can do about it. Hopefully he just has a successful recovery, and he finds a way back onto this team very soon. So hence why now all of a sudden, because of this, the door has now opened for two of the guys that were called up on Tuesday. Huska mentioned it after the game for Peltier and Dewar, that they both had good nights. They both had good chances. They were brought up because they brought a little bit more speed to this team. And I thought the same thing. I thought they were very fast paced. I thought they looked pretty urgent Tuesday night. A door is open for them to come back onto this team. And Again, unfortunately, because of Justin Kirkland, now it's all a matter of who's going to fight and get this spot, right? So I didn't love. There was a lot of people hammering and clamoring about, oh man, like this is a good chance for Peltier to play with Zari because they were able to play so much in the AHL years prior that, that's such a good opportunity for those two to play on the same line. Peltier ends up playing on a line with Kevin Rooney and Ryan Lomberg Tuesday night. Effective, but again, maybe I'm kind of hoping that tonight we can maybe see a bit of a different shift, a little bit of something different tonight as we get ready for the Blues. But anyway, wanted to bring that up. I really hope that Justin Kirkland can, get back to what he once was. It was just such a good story, and it just sucks that, this is just kind of where it all ends for him, at least for this season. So, prayers for him. Hopefully, he gets better. We'll take a quick break, and we will come back. We'll preview tonight's game. Have a little bit of a debate afterwards too in terms of goaltending, but we'll get you guys set for tonight's game. We'll do some quick ads, and we'll be right back and get her done. The NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action's heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-time users to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. You can try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. You can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. Again, that's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. When you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE and HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. You can call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. Quickly, on behalf of the Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus age eligibility varies by jurisdiction, voided in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward, and bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.com/ice. Also sponsored by Game Time. I'm excited again. I've mentioned it so many times before that February is just around the corner. The new year's around the corner, and I can't wait to get back to a Flames game heading into February. Also went and saw a concert too earlier on in the year as we were using the code and all that. It was pretty fun stuff, and hope you guys can check out as well too. Game Time Picks is this new feature within Game Time that lets you fluff out to shows you the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks helps you curate it to make it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The all-in pricing feature allows you to show the total up front so that you have no surprise fees at checkout. You get a full panoramic view of your seat in the app before you buy with their seat viewing feature. You get the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you with 110% of the difference. And the Game Time ticket coverage allows you to have the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. You can download the Game Time app now, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code THPN for $20 off. You can download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. And it is game time tonight as the Flames are back in action 2 nights later as they're going to be taking on the St. Louis Blues with a bit of a lineup change and a bit of a surprise heading into tonight. A lot of people weren't really happy with this, but Daniel Vladar will get the start again tonight. He had the shutout Tuesday against the Blue Jackets. He didn't fare well Saturday in that 6-2 loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but Huska and co decide that he's going to be the man tonight at home tonight against St. Louis. So I think it brings up the question, was this the right call? We have not seen Dustin Wolf since Friday. He is clearly your guy for the future, and he has not played in the last 3 games. So me personally, I don't like it. I understand that, he had a 3-0 shutout. He kind of did let one in, though, to Werenski, even though it was offside, but is what it is. He only faced 22 shots. I understand rewarding good behavior. I get it. But you have to realize, like, you can't just forget, excuse me, about what happened on Saturday against the Penguins. You know, you let in 6 goals against a lowly Pittsburgh team that has been on a little bit of a heater recently, but it doesn't really excuse that, right? So, like, I get wanting to reward good behavior, but you now all of a sudden won't see Wolf until more than likely Tuesday is their next game, I think, or Sunday, actually Sunday in Dallas. So, he's not getting a home start. Vladar gets the back-to-back here at home. Um, I don't like it. I think a lot of people are kind of upset by it too. I think, in terms of health, I can see it on that side of it, but I think this is just purely on you got the shutout, you get the start. It's happened before where Wolf got the shutout and he got the next start. I think this is a bit different though, because when Wolf got the shutout, he was peppered with shots. I can't remember when his first shutout was. If somebody can maybe remind me. But anyway, regardless, a while back, Wolf gets the shutout. And for Tuesday night, like, yeah, he was tested. He technically did get scored on him in the first period, Vladar did, and he was solid the rest of the way. But it's not like the Blue Jackets were providing a lot of work for him. So I don't love it. It is a good chance for Vladar to get back at it again. And I mean, the only positive to take away from this is that if Vladar has another really good night tonight, then I think it just kind of bumps up his trade value where a lot of teams are looking for goaltending, as we saw recently with the trade with Scott Wedgwood and a Noonan from the Avalanche and Nashville. So, I think teams are clearly looking for goaltending going into this year's trade deadline as we approach to it, or they may be looking now. But I think it only drives up his value if he goes to have another solid night tonight, right? We'll see what happens, but that's the only real positive I can kind of take away from this is that, it only is going to drive up his value even more. If he has a terrible night tonight, I think you have to look at the decision for this game and go, well, I don't fully agree with what they did and decided to throw him in. So, it's up for debate. I don't love it just because Wolf is now not going to be seen until Sunday. I think it makes it interesting if Vladar is a really good night tonight. And if they decide to go to him on Sunday, it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. But then you look at the lineups for tonight. You're going to see Pelletier again with Rooney and Lomberg. Basically, it's the exact same lineup that we saw on Tuesday. Huberdeau, Kadri, Pospisil, Sharon Govich there with Backlund, Coronado, Coleman, Zari, and Dewar. And it's the exact same there for the defensive core as well. Ball, Anderson, Uyghur, Miramanoff, Bean, and Paul. They mentioned on the broadcast on Tuesday that Braden Pahal was probably the best player that night. He, just seeing some of the highlights, he was taking pucks away in their own zone, working hard behind the net, blocking some good shots, taking away some really good chances from a couple of the Jackets players on Tuesday. So I thought Pahal was probably the best player that night in terms of maybe a defensive performance, but he seemingly stood out. So looking for him to have another good night tonight. I said it before that, and I think people were kind of clamoring about this too, that I don't love the Coleman Zari line that you have there. I would rather switch Dewar and Pelletier out. I don't really understand because I think Pelletier has been doing better in terms of point production, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to be matched up with a guy like Connor Zari, who they worked really well together in the AHL in prior years. And okay, yeah, I get throwing Coleman there with them, but I don't like Dewar on the third line. I'd rather see him there with Rooney and Lomberg on the fourth, just to provide a little bit more grit. And Dewar does provide a little bit more speed as well. So I don't love it. I think you have to maybe switch that out and tell them that, like, you have to play on those sides of the wings too. Like Coleman can play on the right side if that's a concern, and Pelletier can just go up and play on the left. So I don't know. I think you can maybe swap those two out. I would like that a little bit better. The Huberdeau line on Tuesday was okay. They didn't really stand out. I thought Huberdeau didn't make a lot of great decisions. There was one play where he held it in the offensive zone. He was looking for somebody to pass to, of course, and he gave the puck away, turned it over. They go back the other way. So it feels like there's just so many times I'm watching Huberdeau and he's always looking for the pass. He's never taking the initiative and driving the net. And I want to see more out of that from him because we're just not getting that right now from Huberdeau. So your big boys got to step up tonight. The guys getting paid the most need to step up, and hopefully we'll see that. It's a good Blues team coming in as they came off a good win on Tuesday as well against the Winnipeg Jets. So they're coming in looking pretty good. So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, that I don't, again, I think the first line needs to step up a little bit tonight. I'm kind of expecting more from Sharangovich and that Coronado line. I'm just hoping that they can kind of provide a little bit more of a spark in terms of shots on goal. They only had 22 on Tuesday. Again, take it with a grain of salt, but you have to expect that some of these guys, like Kadri, like Sharangovich, even Coronado, like your goal scorers, need to kind of show up a little bit here on Tuesday. You can't let this last forever where, oh, it's another goal from Anderson. Oh, it's another goal from Weegar, another defensive core or two guys where they're the ones finding the back of the net, right? Like that shouldn't be the case. The two guys on defense shouldn't be the guys leading you in goal scoring this year to this point. So, we've said it for the last 2-3 weeks, maybe even since the beginning of the season, that these guys up front are just not getting it done. And I think, too, now that I'm saying this, Kuzmenko is another healthy scratch tonight. He's not playing tonight. So he's going to be sitting out again. I'm curious, if he gets back in, who does he take out? This is another audition, I think, for Dewar and Peltier that, Kuzmenko's not. He's a healthy scratch again tonight. I think it's surprising. It is and it isn't, because I said it on Monday that it's a good thing for him to sit back, watch the game, take in as much as you can, see what opportunities are there for you the next time around. Like when you get on the ice, what's there for you? What can you take advantage of? And I think it's just still a good learning lesson for him to try to get back into the lineup a little bit. But man, it's going to be tough to see where he gets slotted into, man. I don't know if it's maybe the best move to put him beside Zari, or, maybe I would even recommend that if you decide that, okay, if Dewar might be sent down, right, at some point, and you want to bring Kuzmenko back into the lineup, I actually don't hate. You would have to maybe put. I would like to see Peltier, Zari, and Kuzmenko on a line. All those guys. Peltier putting up points in the AHL. Zari, who's putting up, I think, first or second most points on the team. And Kuzmenko, who needs to get going because he used to be scoring 40 goals a year, 30 goals a year, whatever. So I don't hate that. You just have to do some juggling. Maybe Coleman goes back on a line with Huberdeau. Pospisil goes down to the fourth line. I just think that looking at this top 12 again, that there's an opportunity for goal scorers to be put on the same line and get the most minutes out of them, right? Whether, whether Peltier gets on the same line with Zari, or if you find a way where Kuzmenko comes back into the lineup on Sunday against Dallas, maybe throw him with Zari. You have to find him alongside with another really good playmaker on this team, a young playmaker, if that's what the future is going to indicate for this team. So again, a lot of juggling again within the last week or so in terms of lines. We'll probably see some juggling again going into Sunday, and curious to see whether or not Kuzmenko is going to be in or out of the lineup for the third straight game. But anyway, that's what it looks like for tonight, guys. Vladar gets the nod tonight, and everything stays the same from Tuesday's game against the Jackets as we head into tonight versus the Blues. Ideally, it's going to be tough because, again, they're coming in hot, winning against the Jets. The Blues are. And hey, you've been good at home all year, man. You got 11. I think they're 11-3 or something like that at home. So, you got to take advantage of a December schedule where a lot of the games you're playing at home, and you want to show face a little bit. So, yeah, interesting stuff. But I go back to, I don't necessarily agree with Vladar starting tonight, but prove me wrong. I guess that's the only thing. Just looking at other kind of quick news for today in terms of the the Flames lineups. Just another quick note that Kuzmenko, Joel Hanley, and Tyson Barrie were working late after optional morning skate this morning. They will be healthy scratches. All three of those guys are healthy scratches going into tonight. So it's nice to see, because Joel Hanley, if you guys remember, he's the one that took that hit from behind from Olivier on Friday against the Blue Jackets. So just to see him skating this morning, it's a good sign. He's okay, which is good. Already had my rant on Monday about the stupid hit from behind on Friday, so we won't divulge too deep into it. But yeah, that's pretty much the news for today on Flames side of things. Other than that, Four Nations rosters dropped yesterday. I think the U.S. is primed and ready to win this thing this year. I was kind of happy with, in terms of the Canadians lineup, that Seth Jarvis gets a chance to play for this team. I like it. I think he deserves a bit of a more recognition, because he's played a lot of playoff games too, and he's been effective that way. So I'm super happy that he's going to be on this team this year. The only Flame to make the Four Nations, any of the Four Nations team this year, was Rasmus Anderson. So I think Mackenzie Weegar was a bit of a snub. I don't like Sanheim being on this team over Weegar. If you're looking for purely trying to outscore the other opponent, especially at this Four Nations tournament, with your goaltending probably being at the bottom of the barrel out of all four teams, I would have liked to see Weegar on this team over a Sanheim, or maybe even Colton Parayko. I think it's because that there was a good connection still with Parayko and Pietrangelo in their time in St. Louis, so they're going to reconnect for this Four Nations tournament. Again, I think the only thing I would do is maybe Weegar over Sanheim, but that's up for debate. So anyway, that's going to be it for today, guys. Hope everybody enjoys the game tonight. We will be back with you guys on Monday to post-game preview. No, sorry, post-game of the Stars game on Sunday. We'll get back to you guys for that one then. But until then, get your Christmas shopping done. God knows I still have to work on it. I might leave it for another week or so. That's just going to be it. So thanks, guys, for listening today for this one. And we'll be back to you guys again on Monday. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend coming up, and enjoy the Christmas gift haul, so to speak, for the next little bit. So hope everybody has a great day, and we'll chat to you all again on Monday. Later.